If I might, for a few moments, I just wanted to turn to honoring the service and sacrifice of Americans who serve us as police. From May 15th to May 21st is National Police Week, and Americans all across this country will be recognizing those who serve and have served in police departments and communities from coast to coast. Law enforcement personnel and their families will also be coming together to hold memorials for those who've made the ultimate sacrifice and lost their lives in the line of duty. National Police Week holds special significance to me because for the 6 years that I served as county executive in Newcastle County, Delaware, I was responsible for a police force that worked hard day and night to keep our community safe. And every year in May, I would gather with our law enforcement officers, with the Fraternal Order of Police that so ably represented them, with the families of those who had served, and with the families of the one member of our law enforcement community of the Newcastle County Police who'd been killed in the line of duty. I often would have differences with the Fraternal Order of Police in my 6 years in leadership, but I will tell you, they were great and tireless partners in standing up for the working men and women who kept us safe each and every day. They kept us focused on officer safety, and they kept us focused on providing for them the equipment and the training and the support they so richly deserve. And I'll tell you that each and every week that I would have a tough week, when we had difficult times dealing with local budgets or coming to compromise and making reasonable progress in the county, if I ever for a moment felt sorry for myself as I drove home from the county government center, all I needed to do was to turn on my police radio in my county car and listen to dispatch. There was always something going on. As every patrol car went out, as every squad responded to crises, I was reminded day in and day out of the incredible selfless service of the men and women of local law enforcement all over this country, these dedicated men and women who sacrifice time away from their families to put themselves daily in harm's way. And sadly, too often, it finds them. Since the beginning of 2009, 122 American police officers have lost their lives in service to their local communities. And today I wanted to focus on one, Patrolman Chad Spicer of Georgetown, Delaware. A Georgetown native, Chad attended the Sussex Central High School and graduated from Del Tech in 1999. Following 4 years with our State Department of Corrections, he began service with the police department in Bridgeville and later in the town of Laurel. In 2008, Chad joined the force in his hometown, fulfilling his greatest childhood dream. On September 1, 2009, Chad and his partner, Corporal Sean Brittingham, were in pursuit of a vehicle containing suspects in a robbery. The car abruptly stopped, and before the two officers had a chance to get out, a suspect fired a single gunshot at close range, killing Chad and, in a ricochet, seriously wounding his partner. The suspects were eventually apprehended and have been brought to trial. Patrolman Chad Spicer was only 29 years old when he was murdered doing his job. He's survived by his fiancée, his beautiful young daughter Aubrey, his parents Ruth Ann and Norman, a brother, two sisters, a family of fellow officers in Georgetown and across our state of Delaware. His funeral service was one of the most moving experiences I've had in my adult life, as thousands of law enforcement professionals, men and women, family members from literally all across our country gathered to pay tribute to this brave, likable, dedicated young man who gave his life in the protection of our community. Earlier this month, the people of Georgetown, Delaware erected a memorial to Chad and his courage and the sacrifice that he made for all of us. Georgetown Chief of Police Topping noted that everyone in town knew and liked Chad, even those from the roughest part of town, even those who were on the receiving end of his service to our community. Chad died protecting the community where he was born and raised, and losing him to senseless violence like that had a devastating impact on the people of Georgetown and on our whole state. Chad was the first Delaware police officer to die from wounds received in the line of duty since 1993. His loss is a constant reminder that law enforcement officers all over our country live with the daily reality that each time they go out on patrol, every time they report for duty, their lives may be put on the line as they serve their communities and our country. This is why, Madam President, I think it's so important that the federal government continue to strengthen local police departments' capacity through things like the federal Vest Grant program that helps local law enforcement purchase bulletproof vests and other critical police supplies. It is so important to me that when law enforcement, federal, state, and local work together, we can succeed in keeping Americans safe. There is always more we can do. This is why the Judiciary Committee will be holding a field hearing later this month, next month, June, in Wilmington, Delaware, to explore ways that we can better improve the collaboration and cooperation between federal and local law enforcement. While we honor our men and women of law enforcement every day and every year, during National Police Week, we celebrate their service and sacrifice and thank them for being forever on watch. Mr. President, in memory of Patrolman Chad Spicer and all the other law enforcement professionals who've made the ultimate sacrifice, I today stand in memory of their service.